Is that not? Well, now why is it not working? Oh my word. Okay. Okay. Why is this not working? Mom, do you know anything?
Right there, I see it.
See what?
I see your screen
And then
and
I press present. Y'all didn't see the full screen?
no, so you can leave it there if you want.
Okay, that'll work. Okay, but y'all can see the presentation slides.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about how office workers can reduce and prevent neck, back, and shoulder pain. And in this presentation, I'm going to cover why these issues happen, what makes them worse, and some simple strategies that you can implement to improve comfort, productivity, and long-term health. And here is just the table of contents. So, going into why this matters, about 80% of adults experience back or neck pain at some point in their life, and office workers are especially vulnerable because y'all sit for majority of the day. And students are like that as well, so don't feel bad. But these prolonged sitting postures can increase the strain on your spine, neck, and shoulders. And when the pain gets worse, it ultimately affects your productivity, your energy, and even your mood. So, in addressing these, it's not only about the comfort, it's also about feeling and performing your best across your workday and preventing these complications in the long run. So, some things that can cause the pain, these are like the big five contributors. So, poor posture and having that poor posture while you sit for prolonged periods, having a forward head position, repetitive movements that ultimately lead to overuse injuries, and then just a poor workstation setup, which I'll go into a little more in a minute. But more on this forward head posture. So here on the right, this is a normal cervical spine curvature that we want when we're sitting, standing, or just doing any activities during the day. And when we sit with a forward head posture and kind of just slumped over, it can straighten out that cervical spine, which increases the strain on the joints in your neck as well as the muscles in the front and back of your neck. So we're going to do a little activity. I can't see all of y'all's faces, but I want y'all to sit with as much slumped over posture as you can. And I want everyone to try and raise their arms up over their head and see how difficult that is. Okay. Now I want y'all to sit up as straight as you can. And now see how far you can lift up. So, not only does the slouched posture affect your neck and the muscles around that, but it also affects your extremities too. I don't know how to let these people in. Oh, there we go. Okay. Um, yeah, so having this poor posture can affect both the neck, the back, and the extremities, which can lead to injuries in the wrist, the elbows, and the shoulders as well. So going into some of the anatomy, just talking about the spine, it ultimately provides support and movement to your body. And when we sit for long periods, certain muscles work harder than they should, and it leads to imbalances in those muscles. So I'm going to focus on some of the neck muscles right now. So this muscle back here is called your upper trapezius or just your upper trap. That muscle is a huge, huge muscle and is really the problem child with a lot of this. Its job is not to stabilize the head or the neck. That's what the tiny intrinsic muscles deeper in the neck are supposed to do. So underneath this upper trap muscle, we have some little muscles that stabilize the head and neck throughout your day. This long muscle right here is called the sternocleidomastoid. You do not have to remember that because it's just such an odd name, but that muscle is not supposed to stabilize the head or neck either. And there's tiny ones under here that you can actually see, and that is their sole job. So when we sit with this slouched posture, as you can see in this picture, it puts those muscles at more of a mechanical advantage and allows them to take over the stabilizer role. That's not what we want because those muscles get mad very easily and can lead to pain and just overuse injuries. So we want to correct that forward head posture to allow those tiny muscles to work better. And then typing, we're slouched over it allows those upper traps to work better and we really do not want that. Understanding those mechanics to just help explain why these simple solutions make such a big difference. So these are the big ideas that are evidence-based strategies to assist in preventing these issues. So number one is ergonomics, which essentially is just setting up the workspace to fit your body and reduce the strain on your body. Movement breaks, even short, frequent movement that improve it can help improve blood flow and reduce stiffness. And then stretching and strengthening, giving those bigger muscles support and balance by stretching and strengthening the smaller ones so they can do their job better is really important. And these strategies together can significantly reduce those symptoms that a lot of people have. All right, so we're going to go into setting up your workspace. And while I'm going through these, I want y'all to kind of take a look at your desk and see how you're sitting. Don't try and correct it yet. But while I go through these, I want y'all to kind of correct these so you can see what an appropriate posture is supposed to be like. So starting with your body, your feet should be flat on the floor because this allows both your knees and hips to be at about a 90-degree angle. You want your elbows to be relaxed at your sides. If you have armrests on your chair, that is best, but I can go into some things. If you don't have those, I'll give you some strategies. And then you want your wrists to be at neutral. I know a lot of y'all may have those little wrist rests. I don't know what they're called, but you know what I'm talking about, right in front of your keyboard. Those are fine, but a lot of times they can put you at increased extension or even flexion in your wrist, and you really want it to be right at neutral because if we're at the extremes this way, it puts a lot of strain on the ligaments, the muscles, and all the little bones inside your wrist. So we want those to be pretty straight when you're typing all day. You want your ears to be over your shoulders. When we're in a forward head posture, they are significantly in front of your shoulders. So sitting up straight allows them to be right in line with them. That goes along with the neutral spine that you want to have, and having your hips at the back of your chair really is best for keeping a neutral spine. I know a lot of people may have like a lumbar support or have heard of one of those, which can just like attach to the back of your chair, and it just goes in the small of your back to kind of give you some feedback in keeping your back straight. Because if you try and slouch with something back there, it allows your muscles to get a feedback mechanism that straightens your back out. If you don't have one of those and you feel like with all of these tips you can't really keep a neutral spine, you can just roll up a towel or something and put it in the small of your back to get that feed loop mechanism. And then moving on to the equipment position. So you want your screen to be at eye level, not below or above. We like to say that the top of your monitor should be in line with your eyes because if it's lower than that, it's going to increase that forward head posture because you're having to look down and it's going to let you slouch over. And if it's too high, we're going to be looking up like this, which again increases the strain on your spine. You want your keyboard to be close because if it's too far away, you're going to have to reach out and your elbows are not going to be relaxed. That's going to lead to problems with the wrist, elbow, shoulder, spine. It's all one big chain. And then armrests, if able, are the best. If you don't have armrests, you can just slide your chair up as close to your desk as possible and just rest your arms on there. But you want to be careful that your desk and your chair height are not off because then your shoulders could be up like this, which allows those upper traps to work even harder. And here is just a really good picture showing an incorrect and a correct posture. So you can see right here, his hips and his knees are not at a 90-degree angle, which messes up the whole spinal curvature right here. Your body is just one big chain. So if one thing is off, it's likely going to lead to issues in another area if it's not corrected. So his hips are not at the back of his chair, which allows this part of the spine to curve too much. Eye level is not there with the monitor, so he's having a forward head posture. Neither his elbows nor his wrists are supported at all, so they're kind of just free hanging, which increases the strain. Over here, we have a perfect position. So this is the desired position that you should all be at throughout your day. You can see that his elbows are relaxed. He even has a wrist support right there. Monitor is right at eye level so that his cervical spine can be neutral. Hips are at the back, so he's maintaining this small curvature right here in his lumbar spine or his low back. And then we're at 90 here and 90 here. Okay, we're going to move on to movement breaks. This is one of the most powerful tools. You want to aim to stand or walk every 30 to 60 minutes. Even small, tiny 10 to 15-second breaks are beneficial. I know y'all are busy people, you have work to do, but these ultimately can increase your productivity, even though it doesn't seem like it because it's taking time from your day. But if you're like me and you forget, you can use apps, timers, the reminder app on your phone every hour to at least stand up, go to the restroom, do what you got to do. Um, and then movement also, like I've said before, improves blood flow. It can reduce stiffness and it helps to reset those postures. Because when you first start implementing these strategies, your muscles are going to get tired. They're not used to doing this. They don't have the endurance to hold you in a correct posture, but eventually it will get better. But in the meantime, you can just stand up and it helps to relax all those muscles because it's putting you in a different position that makes the adequate postures easier. And then, yes, even taking the stairs over the elevator is beneficial. It really does make a difference. And I know y'all have stairs there. Okay. And here are some easy walking break ideas that I have come up with to help you implement some movement into your day. So you can walk to a coworker instead of emailing them. I know y'all's offices are really close, so it may not seem like that's doing much, but you're still getting that break and you're still getting some steps in. Think about how many times a day you talk to a coworker over the computer when you could just get up and walk to their office, get some steps in, stretch a little bit. You can take the long route to the bathroom or the printer. I know y'all have like a really long hallways up there that essentially loop around. So you could take a long way to go to the bathroom to get some more steps in and get a longer break. You can stand and pace your office during phone calls. I don't know if that's easy for y'all to do or if y'all do a lot of Zooms where you can't really stand and stuff, but if you're taking a call that's not, super restricted, you can definitely implement this. You can walk during lunch, even if you eat during your lunch, or sorry, not eat, work during lunch. You can walk and eat your food at the same time, just don't spill it on yourself. And you can walk with coworkers as well to make it more fun. This also helps with accountability, and it does not have to be a 30-minute walk. You can go on like a 10-minute walk while you're eating or something like that. Take a lap around the office every hour. You can set reminders to do that and just walk the upstairs and then go back to your office and get to work. You can park farther away from the building. I know y'all's parking lot is not super big, but you could park at the shopping center out there if you have enough time to walk or if it's a nice day out. And then you can use walk and talk meetings when able. Okay, so we're going to move on to some stretches and some strengthening exercises. I want y'all to try to do these with me to make sure you're getting the correct technique and feeling it in the right place. So the first two are stretches for those muscles that are in the back of your neck. The first one is that upper trap stretch, which is the problem child. So for these two, let's do the left side. So we're going to put our left arm behind our back because these two muscles attach to your shoulder blade. So if your shoulder blade is allowed to move while you're stretching, you're not going to get a maximal stretch. So we want to put our hand behind our back because that anchors that shoulder blade down and doesn't let it move. You're going to take your right ear to your right shoulder. You should feel this stretch deep in your neck right here. And if you're not feeling enough of a stretch, you can take your hand, put it on your head, and apply a gentle overpressure. Okay? And then the next one is your levator scapula. This one lies right underneath the trap. You'll feel it more in the back of your neck as opposed to the side and kind of down your mid back just a little bit. So this one, keeping that shoulder behind your back to keep the scapula anchored. You're going to take your nose to your right armpit. And then if you want a little overpressure, you can take your hand, put it on the back of your head, and apply a slight pressure downward. And you want to hold these. You can relax for about 20 to 30 seconds and you can do like 3 rounds of them. Now, you want to make sure that you're not overstretching these muscles because a lot of people think, oh, this stretch hurts so bad. That means that it's working really good. I'm really stretching this muscle, which is not actually true. If you're feeling intense pain with that stretch, a lot of times that kicks receptors on in that muscle, which allows the muscle to contract or tighten. So that kind of defeats the whole purpose of a stretch. So you want it to be a gentle, comfortable stretch where you still feel like you're doing something, but it's not like, oh my gosh, this burns so bad. Okay, the next one is called chin tucks. This one's more of a stretching the back of the neck and strengthening those deep intrinsic muscles in the front of the neck. We are literally going to make a double chin. Don't worry, no one is looking at you, but we're going to do a double chin. So you're going to take your head straight back like this. You can use your 2 fingers and put it on your chin to apply a gentle overpressure. Just like that. You'll hold for about 2 seconds at the back and then relax. You can do like 2 rounds of 10 of these, and that'll be adequate for those. Okay. We have a couple more. So the next one is a chest or a pec stretch, which stretches out the whole front because when we sit with a rounded posture, the front muscles up here get really, really tight since we're sitting in a shortened position all day. So you can stand in a doorway and have both arms up on a door frame. Can y'all see me? Good. Okay. And then just lean in past that door frame, getting a comfortable, gentle stretch throughout the front of your chest right there. And again, holding for about 20 to 30 seconds. This next one is a strengthening exercise. So this strengthens right here in between your shoulder blades, which are really, really big postural muscles. And a lot of times they just don't have the endurance to hold us in that upright posture all day because we sit so slouched over. So these, you're going to act like you have a penny between your shoulder blades and you're just going to squeeze it and then relax. So squeeze and hold for about 2 seconds and then relax. And again, you want to do about 2 rounds of 10 to 15 repetitions on this exercise. This last one is called a wall slide. If you do not have a fancy foam roller like that, it is fine. This is the only good picture I could find on Google, surprisingly. So you'll go up to the wall. You don't have to do this right now, but you'll have both arms on the wall like this, and you're going to let them go up and get a good stretch and then come back down. So it's just this motion on the wall. The wall acts as some support, so you're getting more of a stretch than you are strengthening those muscles. And we made it to the end. So in summary, these are the big 3 factors that are going to help prevent and reduce this pain, which is the ergonomics, setting up your workspace to fit your needs, movement breaks, and the stretching and strengthening. Again, these are very small changes, but they yield big, big benefits. And consistency matters with these. At first, it's going to feel hard because your muscles are likely to get very tired and they may even feel sore the next day, which is fine. But being consistent with these and implementing them every single day eventually will become a habit and you won't have to think about it anymore. And I will leave you all with things that we as therapists love to say. Movement is medicine, motion is lotion, and if you slow down, you go down. Here are my references. And do we have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can see y'all. Okay. If there are no questions, it's okay. But if anybody has any,
So we should do these how many times a day?
you can do those exercises and I'll share the PowerPoint with y'all. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording too, so y'all don't have to talk on here.